If your kitchen currently feels cold, chaotic, or completely disconnected from the comforting memory of Grandma's Sunday baking, then today is the day we completely rewire your cooking space and reconnect you with the deep, satisfying joy of heritage. We are not just making a dessert, we are reviving a legacy. This is your total style and spirit transformation, proving that the heart of any truly happy home is a kitchen rich with history, warmth, and the irresistible aroma of something wonderful baking in the oven. Get ready to banish those stark, impersonal modern finishes and step into the sun-drenched, beautifully curated world of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. This aesthetic is the absolute antidote to the fast-paced, disposable culture we live in. It's a commitment to enduring quality, genuine comfort, and the powerful, grounding ritual of making things with your own two hands. We are going to unlock the secrets to creating a kitchen that doesn't just look stunningly styled, but feels like a comforting hug. A place where every whisk, every rolling pin, and every piece of worn wood tells a beautiful story. This isn't just about rustic charm. It's about sophisticated, intentional design that places warmth and tradition at the forefront. If you have ever dreamt of a kitchen where the flour dust is a welcome sign of life, where the memories are baked right into the countertops, and where you instinctively reach for time-honored recipes, then this journey is your definitive roadmap. This transformation is achievable right now, starting with the very first element we introduced today. Make sure to subscribe now to join our community of heritage homemakers. Hit the like button if you're ready to embrace vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions, and comment below with your favorite treasured family recipe. The true essence of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions begins with the perfect, inviting color palette, which must be deeply rooted in soft, sun-washed tones and natural textures. The key is to move far beyond stark white and introduce a foundational warmth that immediately speaks to history and comfort. Start with a base of creamy off-whites, buttermilk, or a very pale, buttery yellow for the cabinets and walls. This lightness provides the Magnolia feel fresh, airy, and inviting without being cold. Layer in soft, natural neutrals like light sage green, dusty powder blue, or a muted linen gray, which can be introduced through a beadboard backsplash, open shelving interiors, or fabric accents. The color story must feel curated, as if the shades have naturally faded over a century of happy use. Dark accents, such as deep charcoal or oil-rubbed bronze hardware, should be used sparingly to provide necessary grounding contrast, anchoring the lighter elements. This palette acts as the perfect canvas, instantly softening the space and setting a tone of approachable elegance that is absolutely fundamental to embodying vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions in your home. Central to creating the enduring charm of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions is the incorporation of warm, substantial wood finishes that tell a story of time and craftsmanship. We are talking about genuine, hardworking surfaces that look better with age, not pristine, sealed wood. The countertops, if not featuring the classic farmhouse white apron sink, should ideally be butcher block or reclaimed wood. This choice immediately infuses the kitchen with a sense of rustic authenticity and provides an ideal, forgiving surface for all your baking preparations. If replacing cabinets is not an option, focus on introducing substantial wooden elements through open shelving, displaying your collection of vintage cookbooks and mixing bowls. The wood tones should lean towards medium light, perhaps a distressed white oak or pine, avoiding anything overly dark or cherry-stained which can feel heavy. Crucially, the wood should be deliberately imperfect, showing visible grain, subtle distressing, and a matte, natural oil finish to honor the farmhouse concept of utility and longevity, making the kitchen feel lived in and deeply loved. The sink is arguably the single most important architectural element that defines the heart of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions, and it demands the classic, iconic presence of a deep apron-front sink, often referred to as a farmhouse sink. This fixture is not merely decorative. It is a nod to historical utility, designed for large tasks like washing large baking sheets and providing plenty of room for scrubbing pots after a major holiday bake. The material should be white fireclay or porcelain, immediately offering a striking, clean contrast against the warm wooden countertops and soft neutral cabinetry. Paired with this, the faucet choice is equally important. Opt for a high-arc, bridge-style faucet in a timeless finish like brushed nickel or antique brass. This design detail connects the fixture to a bygone era of thoughtful utility and design. The large, visible sink serves as a constant visual reminder of the kitchen's primary purpose: a place for hands-on creation and generous nourishment immediately grounding the space in the genuine traditions of farmhouse life. Open shelving and thoughtful display are essential stylistic strategies for showcasing the genuine utility and curated collection inherent in vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. This is not about minimalist hiding. It is about proudly displaying the beautiful tools of your trade. Replace at least a few upper cabinets with simple, thick wooden shelves supported by elegant, understated corbels. Use these shelves to feature your collections of creamy white ironstone pitchers, delicate ceramic measuring cups, stacks of well-worn linen dish towels, and clear glass canisters filled with baking essentials like flour, sugar, and oats. The display must be intentional, grouping items by color, material, or function to maintain an organized, restful look, preventing the shelves from feeling cluttered. The key is to show functional beauty, proving that everyday items can be design statements when chosen and arranged with care. This strategy breathes authenticity into the space, making the kitchen feel approachable and perpetually ready for the next round of baking. To truly capture the vintage aspect of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions, you must integrate authentic, time-worn accessories and textiles that introduce necessary texture and age. Seek out genuine antique or vintage finds that carry a sense of history. Look for things like a substantial wooden dough bowl that shows years of use, an antique scale with a charmingly distressed finish, or a collection of mismatched porcelain rolling pins. Textiles should be soft, natural, and slightly imperfect. Think textured linen tea towels, quilted pot holders in simple floral or gingham patterns, and perhaps a braided or woven rag rug in muted colors near the sink. Hardware and minor fixtures should include intentional imperfections, like chipped paint on a utility hook or a subtle patina on a copper mixing bowl. These carefully chosen, slightly distressed items add layers of depth and personality, preventing the new elements of the kitchen from feeling too sterile and reinforcing the cozy, heritage atmosphere of genuine farmhouse baking. The intentional choice of lighting fixtures plays a massive, often underestimated role in defining the overall mood and architectural style of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. Overhead lighting should be soft, warm, and comforting, avoiding harsh, bright modern illumination. Focus on fixtures that evoke historical utility with a sense of elegant scale. Above the central island or baking area, consider pendant lights with glass globes, or perhaps industrial-style metal shades in a matte black or brushed copper finish. Alternatively, you could choose a simple, oversized woven rattan or wicker pendant to introduce texture and a softer, more rustic feel. Wall sconces with graceful curved arms and simple linen shades can be added for focused task lighting or ambient glow. The ultimate goal is to create a layered illumination that casts a warm, inviting light over your baking projects, enhancing the golden tones of your finished goods and making the entire kitchen feel welcoming during those early morning or late evening baking sessions. The integration of botanical elements, specifically the symbolic presence of magnolias and other simple farmhouse greenery, brings life and authenticity to vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. This is about bringing the outside in, connecting the kitchen to the natural world just beyond the farmhouse door. Keep arrangements simple, avoiding overly complex or exotic floral displays. A tall, clear glass vase holding a few classic magnolia leaves or simple cuttings of eucalyptus or olive branches is perfect. Alternatively, use small ceramic or terracotta pots to hold fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, or basil on a windowsill or shelf. These serve both a decorative and a practical purpose, ready to be incorporated into your recipes. This quiet, organic touch instantly softens the hard lines of the cabinetry and countertops, adding a refreshing, natural scent and color that symbolizes the abundance and freshness central to the entire farmhouse aesthetic. One of the most practical and charming elements that embodies the hardworking spirit of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions is the dedicated baking station or utility corner. Even in a smaller kitchen, this can be achieved through thoughtful organization. Dedicate a specific area of a countertop, perhaps an end of an island or a small antique cabinet, solely to baking preparation. Ensure this area is equipped with all the necessary, readily available tools: a substantial marble or wooden pastry board, a canister of flours, and a rack for your rolling pins and measuring spoons. This concentration of tools signals intentionality and makes the process seamless, encouraging the continuation of baking as a frequent, enjoyable activity rather than a complicated task. Having this specialized corner not only streamlines the tradition, but also serves as a beautiful vignette that visually celebrates the joy and dedication inherent in farmhouse baking. The tradition of gathering and sharing is the emotional payoff for all the design efforts in creating a vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking tradition space. The design elements we've discussed, the warm colors, the comfortable wood, the inviting light all culminate in a space that is naturally conducive to bringing people together. The finished kitchen should feel like the irresistible destination for coffee, conversation, and of course, the sharing of the fresh baked goods created within it. This space is designed to be lived in, with a large, comfortable island or a small, cozy breakfast nook that encourages lingering. The ultimate goal is to make the experience of using the kitchen as rewarding as the finished product, fostering a sense of community and heritage where new memories are forged around old traditions, ensuring the kitchen truly becomes the warm, generous heart of the home. We have now meticulously detailed the transformation process, moving beyond simple decoration to truly inhabit the timeless, comforting aesthetic of vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. By committing to this aesthetic from the creamy Magnolia palette and the warm, hardworking wood finishes to the intentionally curated vintage accessories, you are doing more than renovating a room. You are investing in a lifestyle of heritage, quality, and connection. This kitchen will be your warm, generous heart of the home, a place where time slows down and the simple act of baking becomes a profound source of joy and tradition. Take these design principles, start small, and watch as your kitchen becomes the authentic, comforting sanctuary you've always dreamed of. Before you start planning your next baking project, I have a request for you. If this guide has inspired you to revitalize your kitchen with heritage charm, please subscribe to NAFA Vintage for more authentic vintage home inspiration. Like this video to show your love for vintage Magnolia Farmhouse kitchen baking traditions. And comment below with the first vintage item you plan to search for.